30th, 2018.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll move down to scheduled business, 2019 budget review. A, Board of Appeals.
How come we don't have their budget? We don't have their budget?
Yeah, it's the last, should be the last one. Board of Appeal. It's the
ZBA?
zoning. Yep.
It's under ZB.
Never fails. Every agenda I have to run one.
All yours.
Mine started out with building.
We're requesting a level funding based on last year's budget. And the only thing we really went over on this year was our legal budget due to one issue with the TWIS situation, which still hasn't ended yet, but who knows what's going to happen there. But Are there any
Anybody
questions from the selectmen or anybody that...
anybody have any questions, concerns?
Move to include the proposed Board of Appeals budget in the town draft budget.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is, so salary administration is really only the secretary, right?
That's correct.
That's the only thing. Do we sort of level funding that? Are we still okay with level fund? Do we think we need to up that at all if we hire somebody else in place, or,
I would think there's enough room there to cover anything that,
yeah,
may come along.
yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
I'm good.
Hey, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Quick and painless.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll move to B, elections, registrations, and vital statistics.
Where's the total? Where's our total?
Isn't that funny?
Nancy, is there supposed to be a page two? All I have is,
It's on the
I
printer.
don't have a total, a page total.
You don't, it's on mine. Do you want to borrow this one?
There's
Yes,
no other
please.
correspondence on this.
There's two, there's elections and
But there's no second page to it with the total.
there's no second page for elections.
Let me run down. She can start with the tax collector one.
Yeah, does anyone have this? No one has a second page, right? Yeah, could you just make
I'll
a
run
second
down,
page
yeah.
for us? Thank you.
Start with tax collector.
It's under E, right,
All right,
for
all right.
elections?
Well, we're going to go to tax collector first.
Nancy,
Yeah,
rather than going all the way downstairs, give it to me, I'll do it in the planning board. office.
okay.
Mine then.
So you just need that side.
So how are things?
Things are good. My budget papers are sitting in the printer downstairs.
I'll go get those for you.
See, she can go get them anyway. Not that there
So the,
no much difference in them, but
Yeah, I can understand that.
not that we're there yet, but obviously elections, you had, what, 3 this year? Is this a 3?
this was a 3. We had the town, the primary, and the general.
So next year's only a 1,
One,
which is a good thing.
just the town.
Uh-oh.
But we don't usually touch that item because if we lose it and try to get it back,
So you just keep the,
We just leave
but
it.
she didn't.
we just leave it.
Mary Jo thinks she printed, but she didn't.
We can do taxes. We do
You want to jump on
taxes.
taxes while we're
We can
waiting?
do taxes, yeah. 'Cause I
Okay.
don't really think I did much to the tax budget.
Okay.
under T? Are we under T?
Yeah, it's the second one.
They're not on the printer. I
They're all
don't
over the
think
place.
so. I don't think you hit print.
Thanks, Nance.
Thank you.
Hold on, I'll give you mine.
Okay.
We're going to jump to tax collector while we're waiting.
Jim?
It's right there.
Hey, do you have them all?
You have one?
No,
You didn't get one?
Didn't grab everything out.
We can share.
he went to get it. Probably the one he left on the,
Thank you.
There's both of yours.
Okay. How did we do? We went- So yeah, my tax budget went up $100. Why?
Explain yourself. Explain yourself, $100.
Oh. I don't know why, I'm looking for it, I can't find it. I don't know where it is.
So it looks like search fees are going down.
Search fees are going down. There's less lean activity going on, so there's less searches going on. And every year I've been reducing that because the original amount was a lot higher with the other company I had doing it. This woman seems to be a lot more affordable. So I lower it a little bit every year so I don't get caught. But, yeah, that's why that went down.
And then tax collector fees went up.
I put that up because apparently I under budgeted for that. All of those are all estimates. I have no idea how much money I'm getting. So I try to base it on the prior year. Anything that's a fee is a guess.
What about dues and subscriptions?
Dues and subscriptions. That was not spent because I use this for, when I go on my conferences, and I did not go to conference this year. You'll see the same thing maybe on the other department, but I did not go to tax collector conference. So that's why it's still there.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Wouldn't the conference fall under training, though?
It does, but it's an expensive training, so we just kind of, it was always under dues and subscriptions, and it just never left. It just never left. Where's training? Yeah, I mean, you could put it under training. Training, you got $100 there. That's not gonna cover conference. Conference is a couple of $100 anyway.
Do you pay any dues, Mary Jo? Any of your tax collector things?
Dues
do they-
is, $25, I think covers both me and Cheryl.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's 25.
And one more thing, I recall you explaining this last year, but I don't recall the actual explanation, so I figure I'll ask again.
Okay.
Deputy tax collector salary, budgeted 10,000. Not even 50% of it has been utilized yet as of 10/9.
It's being utilized now. What it is with Cheryl, where I think when I took over this spot and then hired Cheryl, the way that, when the increases were coming in, it was very hard to divvy up Cheryl's pay from one department to the other. So she has this lump sum, and we put 10,000 over here for tax collector, and so much over for deputy tax collector. We eat that up first, and then once that's gone, we start hitting the other line. If it needs to be divided any other way, we don't know how to divide that. We
Okay.
don't know how to split that up. So what we do is we take her salary, 10,000 stays in tax, the rest goes on town clerk.
Thank you. I knew there was a reason, I just couldn't remember what it
Yeah,
was.
so by the end of the year, that'll be gone.
Okay, anybody else have any questions?
I'll move to include the tax collector proposed budget in town draft budget.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Town clerk here?
now back to
That'd be me. I'm still here.
elections.
Back to elections. Some lines went up, some lines went down, and it's increasing by $16.50 so far.
so far?
So far, because I have, I've been putting this off for a few years because everybody wants something. Now I want something for my office. I need to really get into the millennium. I don't have municipal software. Everything I do, whether it's registrations, dogs, vital records, everything is pulled from a different source. A lot of it is spreadsheets that we dump the data into, print it out. So there's a lot of pulling and trying to reconciling. For motor vehicles, I am what we call a browser town, which means I am directly connected to the state of New Hampshire. We do everything through them, through their department, whereas the majority of towns in New Hampshire are vendor towns, which means they all have their own software. If you have your own software, when MAP goes down up in Concord, you still continue to work. You are not out of the, you're still working. You don't, when MAP goes down, I sit there and say, sorry, I can't do any registrations. With your own vendor software, you just keep on going. You're working within that. That also pulls all reports into one, good for finance. I can give one report to Kim, one report to treasurer. We reconcile at the end of the night on one report. It also gives me the capability to print dog licenses right from the computer instead of having to order the 2-3-part sheets that I have to order every few years. I can automatically generate mailers to go out to the public to remind them to register their cars, to register their dogs. Right now, that's a service I'd have to pay extra for. Everything's done with one program. There's all sorts of little capabilities. It's the same program that I use for E-Reg and dogs. It's just, that's all I can do with it. If I have the software, they turn it on and I can do everything with it. And that includes, there's different modules you can add on to signature pads. If, like, say, Mr. Donovan comes in with umpteen vehicles and he has to sign that registration a gazillion times, you don't have to do that. You sign the print pad, it prints out with your signature on. It has scanning capabilities. If you come in and give me something, all I do is scan it. It pops up on the machine, what I'm doing. It's none of this, you know, you come in with a title. If there's a barcode on the title, you scan the title, it pops up. It just streamlines everything. It's checks and balances that are better. I do have, I have all the proposals and stuff, and this is not something to decide tonight, because I'm sure you're not, the budgets can be worked on some more. But I do have one for everybody to look at, everything that's involved with it. The software itself is $4,495. It's already installed on the computers. They just need to turn it on. So I already have it, it's just, it's not fully operational.
You just need the license.
I just need the license, that's what that is, that's to buy the license. Like I said, it's the same software I do the E-Regs, and also the credit card payments that I now take is with the same company. And again, it's in that one little module. It's not, okay, now I gotta pull up credit cards over here. Oh, I have to pull up I have to pull up, you know, vital records. I have to pull up dogs. I've got a gazillion screens. This is one screen, one module, one report at the end of the night. That's the way it is.
So,
Yes,
so my question is, we're accepting these budgets as draft tonight, and then down the road, we kind of,
right,
you know,
you
as
can
you,
fool with them. That's why I have the paperwork. You can look at it if you wanna all look at it.
as you know. So my only question would be, would this be, if we're in the position where we had to keep you totally flat, do you have an opportunity somewhere else in your budget to absorb this fee? You know what I'm saying?
This one?
Yeah.
No.
So is it a showstopper? Like if we said, no, sorry, we can't do the software this year?
No,
Okay.
it's not.
It would
But
just be
please know
more
I've put
efficient?
this off for several years.
Yeah.
I have put this off for several
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
I don't ask for anything from my office. As you can see, I have
Right.
old stuff. Yes, Jim?
Because that's my general thing. When I see an upper to a budget, it's like, if we're in a position where we can't do that, can we get away with it?
Oh,
Because,
sure, you can, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
It's not a pressing, this is just something I wanted to do. Like last year, I went and I put those credit cards in,
yeah,
which is why the budget kind of went, because I said, well, I have this money, I'm going to spend it on this. Did you have a question?
I was just wondering, right at the moment you have still in your budget $7,163, which I assume was probably the beginning of November?
That is, what is the date of this?
October 9th? Yeah. It's on the first page.
As of, I don't know.
So that
when
was a
it's
month
as
ago.
of. I do have that, but that's still,
I
that's,
was just gonna say, if
That's
for
my
some
pay.
reason you end up with something left over in your budget, you could always put in a request to have
encumber the funds.
exactly.
yeah, good
and-
idea.
Again, out of this money is also my pay.
Right.
I don't know what my pay is. Yeah. I know, I don't know. It's not like I can say, oh, I have $5,000 more coming to me, so I'm gonna have $2,176 left.
I would have no problem supporting if you put forward and ask for encumbrance. And that because we've seen other budgets
Right.
that we know have surplus. I would
I
rather
can do
see-
that. I
I would
can do
honestly
that.
like to see your department start on January 1st with the software.
You and me both.
I do, however, would like to review.
Oh, sure, I actually have a packet for all of you. And if, are you going Thursday to the, they're even going to be there, Interware. Her name is Sandy Rowe, and she can show you everything it does. So if you want to see a firsthand thing, she'll sell you a bridge.
So,
She's really
We don't need
good.
a bridge tonight, but
Okay.
I
kind
wouldn't
of
mind.
related general question, what's our timeline for encumbrances?
by the middle of December, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think we've established it officially, but that's typically what we do, right?
Yep.
Right.
So whatever your budget looks like at that point is, we
Okay.
can make it, like Jim's saying, I'd probably support that too.
Okay,
but-
okay. So, my only other option is a warrant article, which I really want to avoid. You know, but that's what that is.
And Mary Jo, could I just
Sure.
get one more clarification? The hunt fish license charges, marriage license
yeah.
charges, registration charges, fees to state, et cetera. These are all fees that we're collecting, so we're getting revenue against them.
Comes in, it goes out.
Exactly. So even though we're showing we're expending these out, it's because we have to show
Show it.
that they're expending out. But we're actually collecting those fees
Right.
at the time that they're incurred.
Right.
So it's not taxpayer money paying for that particular, thank you.
Right. Anything that you see that is a fee or especially the fish and game stuff, that's just, it's in, it's out. Fees are in and out, they're just whatever it is. Things like what I'm gonna collect from motor vehicles, your guess is as good as mine. I think I estimate pretty well over the years. I think I do okay with it, but who knows? I mean, I lost a railroad, but I gained an oil company. I did.
Just by what you just said, the almost $90,000 cost for that department, probably a third of it is fees. So we're not actually raising, we have to
Right.
raise and appropriate it
Right.
in order to be able to send it to the
Right.
state.
Right, and that's always been my question, why does this go into budget if it's not taxpayer money? But it has to,
Right.
because we're taking it in, and then it goes right back out.
And that's one of the reasons that I have no problem with encumbering money, get the program now.
Okay.
Regretfully, technology works faster than
Yeah, yeah,
the speed
it
of
does. It does here. So I
public
don't
service.
forget.
All right, well, I would move to accept the elections proposed budget into the town draft budget.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Not all these things on here am I going to be buying, and I can explain that to you.
Larry, did you vote? I didn't hear.
I said aye.
Okay.
Thanks. And I didn't have time to put it on the, I was gonna scan it so they could have it.
Okay, let's jump to D. Mary Jo, you all set? Anything
Okay.
else? Okay, D, library.
Mary Jo?
Hi there.
Thanks.
We look at our library budget as two components, wages and everything else, and everything else is our operating expenses. If you look at our worksheet, the wages we are proposing would go up. We have become aware that you adopted a new wage matrix this year for the town employees, so we went through our employees and made a wage adjustment so that all of them would fit into the framework of the wage matrix on the library line. So that's what that increase is under salaries. Our operating budget, all those line items are level funded, so there's no change there.
So, I'm sorry, one more time on the salary. The salary is going up for a specific position
For everyone,
for everyone?
well,
okay.
yeah, over 50% of our employees wouldn't even make the bottom step of the matrix
Yeah.
for the library,
New matrix?
in the
you're
new
saying?
matrix.
Yeah,
So we had wage adjustments.
yeah, okay.
What about media?
I'm sorry, what's that?
The budget line for media?
Media, that's books, magazines, DVDs, those sorts of things.
Right, you still have $4,022 left?
Yeah, but I know that Terry, our library director, there is a bill waiting for me to pay that's already $2,500.
Okay.
So it'll be gone.
Okay. I just see a big leftover like that, I have to ask.
We'll
If
most
it's
likely-
going to be gone, then we're good. I'm good anyways.
Dues and associations. It was
Yeah, there's-
budgeted for 500, but it was 835 expended to date.
Yeah, that one went over this year. Where is it here? We do New Hampshire Library Association for our major staff people. And then there's New Hampshire Library Trustees, American Library Association. This year, and I know what it was too, under dues and associations, this time that we put under here, there's a new library subscription, I guess you'd call it, that we're trying out this year to see if we'll find it useful. And that was a one-time thing of $375, and that's where I put it under there.
Okay, so you're trying it out, and if it works for the library, is there an annual due or
Yeah.
subscription? Then wouldn't you want it in your budget, or are you expecting to be able to pull it out from another line item if you decide to go with it?
I think I'd probably pull it out from another line item. Either that or we'll decrease some of the other memberships that we're in.
Okay.
So, I have a silly question, and it's,
Looking at the same one I am?
no, but it's kind of a general question, maybe Nancy can answer it too, and I always like talking about postage when the road agent's here. He loves it when we talk
Yeah.
about the budget for postage. But when we see these individual budgets, are the individual departments going out and buying like their own stamps? And kind of coming, because I'm wondering, have we ever looked at a cost savings if across the board we made like a bulk purchase? I'm just thinking out loud, like I said.
39-cent stamp is still 39 cents.
Right, but there's scales and stuff like that?
The postage meters don't work for us because there's too many different departments, and the cost that is associated with that, we've looked at it several times, and it's just not beneficial for the town.
Okay.
By the time you pay all the fees and
Yep, just
subscription, whatever,
kind of
it's,
thinking out loud. Because
Yeah.
everybody's got postage on their budget, and I realize that people have recognized, at least the years I've been on the board, they've shrunk the postage budget a little bit, because you don't have to do as much with the US mail, but just thinking out loud, I'm good.
I have one question. What is professional advance?
Continuing education courses,
Okay.
especially our library director, and then there's one other library person who takes some courses that sort of help us.
Okay, so it's more of a training line?
Oh,
then.
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. We also have, New Hampshire Library Trustees Association has an annual conference that many years we trustees go to that because it gives us education on all these laws that are specific to libraries.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we include the proposed library budget in the town draft budget.
Second?
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All
Thank
set.
you.
I'll jump down to E, Building Department.
Under B, I would assume.
Evening.
Good evening.
You have your copy, right?
All yours, Ron.
What color is it?
It's right at the beginning.
Oh, at the beginning?
Yeah.
All right,
There
the
it is.
difference between the 2018 and the 2019 bottom line is no change. Some line items I did move around because we weren't expending from those certain line items. And I moved those monies over to salary code enforcement, so that in the future, near future, we'll be able to hopefully find someone who can take on that position and have some monies available for that, to fund that position. That's basically the only change that we really made. Moved it from being 10.5 to 12.5, just an additional $2,000 in there, and moved them out of some of the other line items that we have not been expending.
That position is presently paid by a stipend versus hourly.
That was basically a part-time position, hourly wage.
It wasn't hourly.
Code enforcement hourly.
Right.
Anybody else have any questions?
Move to include the proposed building safety budget in the draft budget.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Chairman, I move to go into non-public session under RSA 91A32,
Well, before you do that,
A
You have to
through
sign-
C.
before you do
You
that.
have to
you-
sign
No, I-
manifest first.
I've got a motion on the table.
We have to read these now?
Can I get a second?
Second for discussion, I guess. Do we have to do
Discussion?
We can always come back to those
Great.
later.
this? Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Okay, going into non-public.